Hello and welcome to the Daly's Hyundai Winter Chase Race League round number 7. We're live on TUZ YouTube channel and also WinMacPC's Facebook page. Remember, please subscribe to the TUZ YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. I've noticed the subscribers have taken a bit of a nosedive, only got 7 from last week, so if you're watching, get subscribing. Round number 7 is called Greater London 8 and is 24k in distance. Short one tonight, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, as there's a stinger around 15k called Box Hill, and it's around 3k's in distance. Last week's winners in all categories, we have D Riders was Davy Gordon. In the C's with John Cruthers from the UK, with Alwyn McKee in second place. Rodney Young in the B's, and Richard Barry was the A winner. We have again Ross on a bike in the C race, and along with me I have Fiona Kelly and the Zwift encyclopedia himself, Tommy Evans. Is everyone there?
Hello.
What about you?
Sweet, everyone's there. Great. Over to you, Fiona.
Okay, one, I think next time I need to lead with what about you, but Ross definitely stole that line, so I'll use it next week. Okay, so just go through our category winners here. So if we start with the A category, we have Seth Dunwoody still in first place. He's on 570 points. So far throughout the league, he's had 5 wins. He's followed by Lindsay Watson, who is in second place on 520 points, who's had 3 seconds and 2 thirds so far. And moving
Always
up
the bridesmaid.
always the bridesmaid. Maybe this week things could be different. It could be a number 1 for Lindsay this week. So in third place this week we have Stuart Miller, who's moved up from our cycling club. He's on 438 points so far. Moving on to the B category, we have Rodney Young with 545 points, 2 wins, 2 second places, and 1 third place. Please excuse Ross coughing and dying in the background. Ross, come on, the race hasn't even started yet. In second place in the B category, we have Stephen Edmondson, 1 win, 1 second place. He's on 473 points. Ronan Bloomer is now in third place in the B category on 371 points. Jumping across the C's, we have Gregory Gout still leading the C category from North Down on 550 points, followed by Gary Scott on 510 points, and third place Adam Ward on 505 points. So quite close between Gary and Adam this week, so there could be some movement within the C category for next week. On to the D's, we have a new league winner here. So Ryan Fagan has moved up into first place. He's on 470 points. Big shout out to Ryan from North Down CC. He's followed by Davy Gordon on 381 points and Marty Lynch on 380 points. So also quite close there in the D category. On to women, we have Claire Richardson still dominating the D lady category, followed by Mela Johnson. This week in the C category, we see some movement. So June McMinn has jumped up into first place in the league and is on 260 points. Zoe Lindsay's dropped down into second place on 552 points, and in third place Rona Harkins on 97 points. In the D category, no movement this week for the ladies. It's Kim Campbell still in first place and Nikki Alexander in place there as well. So we are seeing a bit of shifting around in terms of results there, and I think we'll probably see another couple of movements within some of the categories tonight.
Great. Thanks, Fiona. So, Tommy, you had a wee spin on this course tonight. What are the riders in for?
Well, I suppose first impressions, you look at it says London 8, and you think, oh, London slot, but actually it's quite a nasty little course right from the get off, and within the first minute they have probably a 2-3% climb that goes past one of the banners, which is pretty horrible when everybody's going at 5-6 watts a kilo just for the crack to kill each other for the first 3 minutes. So then as you go on a little bit further, there's lots of little rises on the London course that can catch you out. You know, there's a little part with a left-right chicane that drops down. Again, groups can split there, as we've seen in the past. Any little gap at all on a downhill from the front group, the momentum gathers. And then you have lots of little waves and twists and turns before we head in through the underground. And then we hit the main climb of the day, Box Hill. Actually, I was fortunate enough. I think Box Hill was in the Olympics, wasn't it, in 2012? I did have a little ride around it in 2012. I was over there with triathlon, so I did see the climb. I'm not sure if I can remember it as well as it looks on Zwift, but it is a good little climb. It kicks straight in after the roundabout, and it's 3 kilometers where there's sections of 10%. And then there's the little false flat as you go through the King of the Mountains banner. You probably have 200-300 meters, and then there's that nasty little kicker of 10% that lasts for a couple of 100 meters, which can catch people out. And then you're instantly into a pretty steep descent in places, which is maybe 10-12% at times, until you come back down into the sort of the underground again, where you have that little ramp up, the escalator, which at one point, I think maybe 1.7, 1.8K to go, is where you could burn a lot of matches if you're in the wrong position and have to chase. And again, it's a little bit of an incline into the finish. So it should be a close race. Again, we'll have Richard Barry, last week's winner, who on the form guide has the fastest time up Box Hill that's on our start list. Another guy that I've raced a few times along with myself is a guy, Gary Walker, who's right up there actually in the ranking, really good scores, 114 points. He's another guy that's been very active and winning quite a few events. So those two guys have the fastest time on Zwift Power over Box Hill. Again, that could be within a massive big group, which has an effect on the speed. Then our young leader, Seth, he's right up there as well. We have a French visitor, Jan Le Goff, and then a Kiwi, Mark Bousted. And then Lindsay, we don't know what time we can go up at that, so Lindsay could be our surprise.
Yeah.
No pressure, Lindsay. And Tommy, I'm just there listening to everything you're saying, but like, yeah, I mean, this is definitely why we have you involved to pass all the relevant information about the course. You're there putting me and Mark to shame. We're sat there just like doing nothing. And Tommy's like, I'm out cycling the course. It's like, okay, you can report back to us. That was really good to hear.
You two need to do your homework.
Yeah, see.
But we have Tommy.
Yeah, we don't need to
I've
do it
already
now.
done homework. I was doing homework all day, teaching. I needed stress relief from teaching.
Right, the D's are off, 30 seconds in, so we're just going to follow them until the start of the C's, and then we'll flick over to Ross, see how he's getting on at his start. So he's got 5 minutes to go.
Be good to see them on this incline here. So at the minute they're on a downhill, so they'll come into this, so they're ramping up at 3%. So it's this little section here goes for a little bit. So and imagine they'll be stretched out for a while along this, but it is, you can see the numbers there.
Yeah,
lots of them are pushing on there, 4.3. And
give a shout out to Ryan McBride while we were watching him there anyway, so good luck to him tonight, one of our junior riders.
Yeah, with Chris Cameron on here complaining already that his Swift has crashed 4 times before he started.
There has been some issues with it. I've been on a few of those ghost rides where you log in and you're there on your own. And what I've had to do is just disconnect my Apple TV and then reconnect it back in. And once it's refreshed up, it seems to fix that. But you can see that instantly if you log into any of the rides and you end up you're on your own before you join your group. You know that's going to happen. Immediately you join the group, you'll be on your own. So you just need to reset your stuff.
Yeah, I noticed tonight there's an update there as well. I had an update anyway.
We can see the D group are pushing on well here. They're well strung out.
Yeah. We'll get over to the front of them here. We have about 3 minutes 30 to the start of the C's. Handicaps tonight. 6 minutes between the C's and D's, and then another 9 to the B's and 2 to the A's. So Ross is confident in his handicapping this week that it will all come together with around 2Ks to go, I'm told.
Well, you can see again on Zwift Power the time comparisons between the groups on the climb. So you have C's that are maybe going up the climb in 10 minutes, D's maybe 11, 12, and you have Richard Barry there going up in under 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's how a gap can massively close down in terms of that. It's just up to the groups to ride smart on the flat here and stay in as big a group as they can. because that'll make them move on faster rather than being strung out and all over the place.
You hear that, secret?
One for you, Ross, here. Johnny Kearns. Ross is getting a kicking tonight.
Johnny, be nice.
For sure.
What machine are we on Zwift tonight, Ross? What's your weaponry of choice?
I don't know. I still have a wee look now.
You've still got plenty of time. 2 minutes to go.
Carriage, bike. Oh, I'm on a Specialized Tarmac SL7 with MV wheels.
Yeah, very fancy
details
going on there.
I might just change that.
Nice.
No need for the deep sections.
Should put the disc in.
Does that actually make a difference?
There we go. We're on the Tron bike.
No, you got to change that color scheme. I would like you need the tires glowing the same color as your kit now. It should be glowing green. You know, you can't adjust
I'm
that.
so glad you said that.
Your right hand side, there's the bar. You need priorities here, Ross. Come on.
Yeah.
Imagine picking your bike and kit 2 minutes before the race starts.
Oh, nice.
Too professional.
Hey.
Now we're talking.
There you go.
I'm like a bloody leprechaun. I've so much green on me, I'm like a leprechaun.
These D riders are actually not too bad. They're grouped up here going well.
Yes, they have
I
gathered
must have
up
listened
now.
to you there.
How many's in the D's tonight do we have?
66 tells me on the screen here.
How many of them are actually D's?
Well,
that's a very good question.
Right, a minute to go to C's. Remember, keep the shout-outs coming in. We're keeping an eye on the socials here and the YouTube lives. Ross is getting kicking. We know that one. Let's go Orchard Youth, Glenn Dunwoody.
There's Aaron McCormick. Last race he done was in Ulster, was in Daly McCash, 1989. Daly McCash used to be horrible little circuit. That's where they had lots of the underage racing, and there was it was a concrete road with joins in the road, and the joins were every friggin' 200 meters. You're just bumping along on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've done the Daly McCash race.
Yeah.
Right, 20 seconds to go.
20 seconds. We're over to transition over to Ross.
Before we kick off with the C's, shout out to Richard Lennon, who's riding the D category tonight. Apparently he loves the hills, so expect big things from him tonight.
Richard's wife gave birth yesterday, so he's came in on the bike.
Aye.
Oh, Richard, sorry, Glenn, they get him talking about if he's riding. Here we
Glenn
go.
is giving shout out, so maybe he's taking the night off for baby air duties.
So as we can see, Ross is firing up the engine pre-start, which is always one of the secrets to getting off the blocks that little bit easier. You need to put the power down about 5-6 seconds before the flag actually drops. It makes a difference because it just projects you out at 500-600 watts rather than kicking off at 0 watts. So it does make a massive difference to how you start the race.
That is for sure. I think I probably read my favorite comment of the night. So Adam McConnell, thank you for sending this one in caps locks. Do the Darnell Moore spiel. Yes, excellent.
Is Darnell in tonight?
Come on, Mike.
He's down there, yeah.
Dear. I haven't got that on my wee iPad here anymore. Sorry, Darnell.
Oh, you deleted Darnell? That's a bit harsh.
Right, I found the B's.
On this wee hill now, Tommy.
Yes, and how nasty is it, Ross? When you're knocking out
400
watts there. Yes, you see that? 4.5, what's that? That's a bit high. You might put the brakes on.
Yeah, he's just bashing out the watts at the start. Keep her lit, bro.
Here's a comment on the YouTube channel. Andrew Headley. Weight is going to be really pay the part tonight. I'd say if you guys have been on a diet this week and lost weight. Bit of weight doping going on.
Andrew, you could be right. We've seen a couple of questionable weights in the past few weeks. So, but we've decided to stay away from the weight doping comments for personal reasons. But we definitely did on that one.
Occasionally you can see some weight changes of 30 kilos, which is quite drastic. But then you realise that no doubt a family is sharing the Zwift login amongst several people, kids and whatever else. And they forgot to change it back.
That's
Yeah.
that's the excuse anyway.
That was a kind excuse. I was going to say, geez, that's some weight loss between morning and evening time, weighing your 30 kg. I mean, I'd give you a 1 or 2 kg there, but 30, that's a bit extreme.
So Ross, it just happened like it always happens to me. The first 60 seconds is pure hell. The next 30 seconds, it just calms down. And then the next 30 seconds, all of a sudden you're at the front because the others have decided they've had enough.
Yeah.
Big group in the B's. How many tonight? Or
Let me
C's?
double check the B's.
Right. 156 in C.
Jesus.
I thought I
think it's
saw
similar-
JC pop
similar
up on
base.
screen there as well. So I was like, is Johnny Carnes racing rather than just throwing a beat at Ross? Well done, Johnny.
I'm telling you, these are all the guys that used to just appear for the McKinley 3-day. They never raced any other race of the year because they were afraid of getting upgraded. And they just appeared for the McKinley.
The B's are off. I have them on the screen now. Just trying to find a name I know here. Big group of B's here. 157. Our Hannah.
Yeah, and Jake Rushby there as well from Peninsula Tri Club.
Yeah, our Hannah's way down here. He's going to have to work hard to get up towards that front. He's right in the mid-pack here. That's Rick Hannah, isn't it? Hard
Nope.
seat.
There's almost, is it just me or are there 2 Rick Hannahs? There's Rick leg
There's a
of
Richard Hanna from Ards.
That's who
yeah,
we're following.
I have gotten confused with that one before. So will the real Rick Hannah please stand up, please?
And exciting times are ahead then with the Tour of the North being run by the TUZ crew. That's fantastic. You know,
Very
that's
good
really
plug
forward
there, Tommy.
thinking, guys. Excellent.
And it's going to be streamed live as well. We'll have the green light from the missus. For me, anyway.
All right. Excellent.
So
Excellent. I just disappear out to my office for a few hours and say nothing.
yeah, well that's basically what happens at this house as well. I just go out the back door into the office and just vanish.
I think it's fantastic though to have like four races in 3 days.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a lot of international flair possibly looking to join in. It should certainly be interesting. Now, great format. Let's hope it all goes to plan and we get it as it is. The Bologna time trial straight after that first stage will be interesting.
Yeah, definitely would be interesting.
Have to try and figure out a way of following some TT riders, so I'm going to have to join a few.
There we go. The years have kicked off.
Right.
Tommy, we'll have to get advice from you on how you go from riding one race in the morning into the TT in the afternoon as well.
Oh, easy. Just keep going. Just keep going. But Zwift have actually they have a fantastic duathlon series on. I'm not sure if I mentioned it last week, where they go 35 minutes on the bike as far as you can go. Then you have a 10-minute break, and then you have a 15-minute treadmill run as far as you can go.
Oof, the idea of running still has not registered that with me yet.
What's wrong? What's wrong, Fiona? Why can't you run?
This is like my version of sandbagging as a triathlete. I'm like, pretending I'm a biker at the moment rather than actually running. So it's also logistically a lot harder to do those kind of duathlon series because you need to obviously get the pod and all that type of setup as well. So
yeah.
I don't know, it's tricky. But it's good to see some races ahead.
Well, the airs are in action here.
I'm just trying to find them.
3% climb. I'm sitting watching them here on my own screen. So they're not going to plenty of watch. I'm watching young James Curry. He seems to have decided to show up this week again. Lots of the other guys.
I think he had a problem last week. He wasn't on Swift Power. He wasn't registered to Swift Power.
Yeah. That's the thing. People forget it. And really, Swift Power is just a great database, as I've said many times, for training information. That you can see your own training history, and again, you can stalk other people and see who's actually at the race and where their strengths and weaknesses are. The A groups, actually, there's 69 in the A's this week, if my numbers are right, what I'm saying. Like, that's one of the biggest groups I've seen in the A's, is it?
Would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to pick out an A rider here on the fan view, so we'll stick with Ross for a while once I try and find a guy here.
I'll flick on to Darnell, see how Darnell's doing.
There you go. You can take over from Mark,
Yeah.
seeing as he's slacking this week.
We'll give him a thumbs up. Darnell, he's sitting there at 3.6, 177 heart rate, 90 revs a minute. You know, that's one of the other interesting things to watch when you're racing some of the guys, is looking at the different types of cadence. You know, who's a paddler and who's a grinder, and seeing perhaps which method's better. Like, I have tried lots of methods to see, and neither of them are good.
Okay, we'll have the A's. We'll find Kevin Lynch. Everybody knows Kevin, Yuri Wheelers.
Hi, Kevin.
Right,
Yeah, Kevin's been going well for the past couple of weeks as well, so he's probably one up the front there.
Yes, Kevin has done well throughout. He's been active all winter on Zwift.
Yeah.
Again, like myself, probably one of the guys that thought, no, I'd rather be out in the road. But once you got into the way of it, and I think that's what we all miss in cycling, is that social aspect of going out and talking nonsense to each other and slagging each other. Where actually in lots of the group rides, there is loads of banter and laughs. They're quite funny, and you get the right group. You know, the Australians especially, they have really good humour. I think they can take dark humour pretty well.
Yeah, because I do the early rides, so it's usually the Swedish guys I would ride with at the weekends, and they're all brilliant crack in the races, or in the group rides in the mornings.
Yeah.
Who is brilliant crack in the morning? Those people, like, they're next level. I'm not even awake at that time, so.
Fiona, I left the house this morning on the bike at 6:30.
Yeah, so you told me I wasn't out of bed yet, so don't know what you were doing then. I had to ask you, was it still was it dark out still, or was it bright?
Yeah, kind of dark, getting brighter. Ross, how you going?
I'm in the front group here, comfortable enough, but the legs aren't feeling fantastic, to tell you the truth.
It must be that big long shift you've been doing.
That's what it is. Too many big erections again.
Family show, Ross.
Yeah.
You had a room with a view the other day, hadn't you?
I did.
Right, we're following Glenn. How will Glenn go this week? The wheels fell off last week.
I even passed him last week. Must be going bad.
He was
I did
blaming.
not know it happened.
He was blaming Tuesday night. He did the exact same course last week on Tuesday and went really well. And I said to him, "There's no point going really well on the Tuesday. It's Wednesday. You need to go well."
Yeah, Wednesday's the biggest race in the country, isn't that right, Tommy?
Yes, that's it. It just had Stephen Nolan just hasn't mentioned it yet.
Yeah, these guys are all over the road. Tommy, what's going on? Not riding together.
That's one of those little rises, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's when they hit the little rise, and then there's a small descent afterwards. So this is a descent of 5%. So that's what creates the havoc. That's a hard little bit when you come up past those statues. And some of the other courses that come up that statue all the time, it's just horrible. There's that guy Gary Walker that I'd mentioned earlier on. He's moved to the front. Richard Barry's around the front there as well. Connor Spice. Seth
Darnell
Dunwoody.
Moore.
Darnell.
Stuart
Lindsay's
Miller
going
as
to be
well.
there somewhere.
Yep.
Glenn's up there as well.
Yep. We're watching Glenn now still.
Like, this is the amazing bit, that we can actually, fan view different people through this.
Yep.
It's really good for streaming that way, that you can get lots of information and see where everybody is.
Yeah, it's good to see the names pop up there. I see Leif Joyce is up the front of the A category as well tonight. He seems to be putting in good numbers there. I'm wondering where Lindsay Watson is. I don't see him.
I found him on FanView. There he is.
Oh, thank God.
Friend
We're
of the
getting
show,
it.
Lindsay. What about you?
If the companion app's right, it's saying it's around to the next group. It just changed there because it was too far back. It was 2:11 to the next group. So what was the time gap at the start from the B's?
B's to A's was 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's probably still holding. There's a few
Still
guys who
holding,
got
yeah.
dropped out of the B's yet. Let's see
Yeah,
if we can
There's two
steer
groups
through.
of two. 3 groups and 2 bunches.
Yeah,
The
so
main
if,
bomb
if
is going off
a
early.
few guys are probably off the back in the Bs, and that's why I'm
Let's
going to
have a
see
look
if
at
I can fan
young
back.
Seth. I'm looking at our series leader. He's sitting in the middle of the pack here, nice and comfortable. 72 revs a minute, so he's a guy that's low on the cadence. Again, it could be what he is linked up to register the cadence. Sitting reasonable heart rate there, 161, so we know he has a lot more fuel in the tank there. He's not going full gas.
Ross, we're going to pan
Still a
back
big
over to
group.
you.
Okay.
I'm going to flick up here and see if we can find some time gaps live.
And Tommy, do you think cadence makes a difference? So like you're saying there, some of the guys are riding at 90, some are riding at 72. Think that comes into play when it comes to racing as well, or each to their own?
Well, it's definitely worth an experiment for anybody out there if you want to see how cadence affects you. You know, we all have our own unique engine and our unique revs that will work what's best for us. So if you've done a little, let's say a 160, or if you use the wattage as a number, if you've done a 200 watt ride at a variation of cadences, so 10-minute blocks at maybe 70 cadence, 80 cadence, 90 cadence, and see how your heart rate changes with the cadence, you'll instantly see that there are some people that can't tolerate low cadence. You're just creating more torque, so it's having to use more effort to get the gear moving. So your body's having to work harder, your heart's having to pump more blood around to get fuel and oxygen to you. So it all depends. There definitely is people that are suited to higher cadence and people that are suited to lower cadence. And again, with the triathlon people, you have seen lots of the long distance athletes they've been toying around with getting that cadence just, low, not super low, but like probably in the 80s, high 70s, low 80s, with just minimum rollover. Where lots of cyclists you'll see Froome and these guys, their cadence it's mayhem, like they're at 100 revs plus a minute.
Yeah.
So it's finding what works for you. Again, it's sometimes the bigger gear just tires your muscles that little bit more. But at times in the group here, you may find it's easier just to roll along in a bigger gear. And again, one of the other things that I have noticed is there are guys in the A group that are using a heck of a lot more watts per kilo than others are to get to the finish. So there's that bit which I still haven't mastered yet, even in some of the group rides, is finding how to float in the group using the minimum amount of watts. That is a real art to do. When you look around you and someone's doing 2.5 and you're doing 3.4 and you're cracking up and it just looks like you're pushing all the time. So it's finding out where you need to ease off and where you need to pedal. That's one of the big learning things that most people should look at with the game and the Zwift routes, is do lots of group rides to find out how you ride the particular maps.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. Actually, one of the people I always see doing that really well is Peter, who normally rides in the 8 as well. He seems to be quite good at like knowing where to sit in the group. Whereas I know you look at some other people who are finishing the race and they could have way higher watts, even though they finished behind somebody like leader or something. So, yeah, that's a really good point, Tommy. I think it's so easy to surge on the game that you see yourself drifting back and you surge forward, then you're off the front, and yeah, it's tricky.
There's definitely an aspect of road racing style where there is more consequences for being on the back of the group in Zwift, because as soon as the front of the group goes over any sort of climbs, they're on a descent, it just strings out even more. And that's where you pay a big price, is on any rise. If you're too far back, you're having to put more power down to chase. And if a 1 second gap opens, it could be a 1 minute power effort of 6 watts a kilo to close it at times. Just the momentum of the group and the dynamics of the game. The draft dynamics really work in the advantage of the group.
Yeah, and that carries over from the road racing as well. You always think that it'll be safer for you to sit at the back of the group, but then yeah, when you realise there's a break on off the front, or you've missed out. So I think you're right there. Even on Zwift racing, it's good to stay around the middle or up the front.
And again, in the group rides, where if you stay closer to the group lead, the draft is better around them. So if you sit maybe 5 meters or 10 meters in front or behind the group, the draft is easier around them rather than being way at the back.
That's interesting to know.
We've just caught the first handful of D riders.
Yeah, the A's are just picking up some stragglers here in the B's and the C's. So the next group of B's is about 24 seconds.
Shout out as well coming through on the live stream. So from Tony Callahan, unfortunately he's not able to race tonight, but saying thanks for the commentary and the tips. I'm gonna say the tips. He's thanking Tommy for realistic, and give a shout out to all the band wheelers who are racing tonight. So good luck to any band wheelers out there.
Ricky Blaney,
looking, Ross?
Expecting a big performance out of Ross tonight. That's from Ricky Blaney, Ross.
My cousin, he's in Canada.
Oh, we're a viewer from Canada. Brilliant.
International viewers.
Yeah, we're now global.
We have a couple of Canadian guys racing here. We have a big professional bodybuilder in the C group. Well, very well known bodybuilder. Can't remember his name, I do.
He's very well known because we have creeped on him a couple of times that he has come out to race. Maybe we'll do some bodybuilding session as a follow up to this. Who knows? But yeah, we did see his name back during a race, and we'll have to say, I wonder how the bodybuilding helps with cycling.
The A's are just coming through that little section of well, there's the bridge over, and there's a little rise there. It goes on for maybe 50 to 150 meters. It's like 3 to 4%, and they've just strung out there quite a little bit.
Yeah, riding through it.
Okay, I'm hanging left, heading for the underground.
Oh, lovely.
10k to go.
That's where the fun begins, underground, and then you hit that roundabout, and then it's off. Let's play. So the A's have caught a big group there of, must be some of the B's, is it?
They're a mixture. There's a lot scattered all over the show.
Richard Barry saying Creighton for the win. Richard, don't count yourself out. Tommy's been saying that you have good results up the final climb.
Yes, Richard likes to race on this hill now. It's up to the other guys to decide how they could potentially overhaul Richard.
Although you went through Richard's strategy last week, I think, going up the Levy Hill climb, and then he changed it. So you never know, Tommy. He might shake things up.
Yes, well, Richard has attacked on this climb before. He has attacked the group and put the race to them. So he's certainly not afraid to race. He has the firepower to win from a sprint, and he has the aggression to throw caution to the wind. As I said, the last time I remember watching this was the Cycling Ireland one, and Chris McGlinchey took off. I think that did they maybe do 2 laps. He took off and won on his own. But there was quite a bit of action in behind. It all depends on how big the group is that goes away. Probably best with 2, 3, 4 riders rather than on your own, because it's still a long way on the descent. And if a group isn't so far behind you at all, anywhere between 10 to 12 seconds, there's every possibility that they'll catch it on the descent, just with the dynamics of the Zwift map.
Right, we're at the roundabout at the bottom of the climb. C group.
Ross, give us a wee shout when you start the climb. I'm just going to start a wee stopwatch here.
Tommy, I have a question for you. So when we were watching the A's, I just saw Mark's mate Darnell, and I see he has.
on the climb now.
Oh, there you go. Start your stopwatch there, Ross. So the pro riders, I always see that they have their little orange jersey in the sidebar, but they actually have a orange jersey on the screen.
Yeah, that's got verified.
There you go. Darnell gets a fancy jersey and everything.
Yeah. It maybe could be his disadvantage, maybe that's what's holding him back, that he hasn't access to the Tron bike. He could be stuck with his Vitus.
Makes it easier for Mark to spot him, it's okay.
Okay, Ross is up to 6% there. How are we feeling?
On it.
So this is the early part of the climb where your best, if anybody, comes to do this in the future, they're best looking at what they have rode up this climb in the past, Like again, Zwift Power will tell you you can go and look at segments. It'll tell you on the segment what time you have gone up and in and what your average watts per kilo are. So lots of these longer climbs that are 7+ minutes, you do need to pace yourself. You know, if you go really hard at the bottom, you're going to pay the ultimate price and blow up with probably 2 minutes to go on the climb. So you're better looking at the wattage that it has said you have average and start in or near that. You know, a couple of watts or 0.2 of a watt above it per kilo is something that's sustainable. But if you're going up at and you're going at a full watt a kilo harder at the bottom, you're just going to explode. So you got to look at how you can pace these things. That, you know, that's a lot of the tactics that you can look at. Again, it's all in the Zwift Power. You just go into the segment part of it, and it'll show you every part of the map where you have raced and any hill segments there is, and you can look at who's the fastest, and then you can look at yourself on it. So it'll show you what you've averaged on it.
That is good to know. Ross, while we're looking at your avatar and screen, I bet you're happy that Tommy got you to change your bike and color coordinated to your socks and jersey. You're looking well, let's put it that way. I also see around Ross there is Zoe Lindsay, who's our junior female rider as well. So down beside her name, I think there's PC Racing, so that's a good ladies cycling team there. And also I see June McKinn as well, so Zoe and June are definitely fighting it out up this climb as well.
So the guys are just going through the underground there. They're about to come up to that roundabout in maybe 30-40 seconds.
I reckon the A's are about 3 minutes. It's going to be about 3 minutes, yeah. We'll transition
closable.
over. So the 3 minutes to make up.
To see what they do at the bottom.
Well, we
I
can
think
hear
the guys to watch.
hard anyway.
Well, we're following Richard Barry here.
Yeah, Richard Barry, Gary Walker, and there's a Kiwi here. Seems to be reasonable in this. Lindsay, no doubt.
Yep.
And then we'll have a few surprise packages. Young Seth, I'm sure, should be good enough on this as well.
Just here,
and our French guy
getting her tight in the background.
Yeah, and we have Nathan Keown as well up front of the A category, so he seems to be riding well.
So we'll stick with Richard Barry for now, as Tommy has him pipped.
A little bit tricky for the A's riding through all the groups at the moment, is it not, Tommy?
Yeah. Yes, again, this is the other point where you can get caught with the sticky watts, where like Richard's doing the right thing. He's right to the front here, pushing through. You got to push through. That's where you can easily create a gap. I'm sitting watching Gary Walker here, who's a little further back. You know, he could maybe get caught out here with some of the other guys where Richard has pushed on.
Yeah, you can see a couple of numbers turning red behind Richard, so I guess they're chasing to back onto his wheel.
Yeah, Gary's up there now with him.
Yes, riding 7.5 watts per kilo just to get through all these guys.
Yeah. Like the A's have hit this really hard at the bottom.
Yep.
And is it Stuart Miller?
Yeah, Stuart Miller.
From ours. He's up there as well. Seth's there.
Yeah, they're definitely putting out big numbers on this.
Yeah.
Wonder how long you can sustain those numbers for.
Well, we know that Richard can average 6.3 watts a kilo up it.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing right now.
He's sitting now. He's went a little hard at the bottom now.
Yeah.
Again, it's a lot of the things is that they're trying to sort the group out early on here. So these stronger guys that have that 4 and 5 minute power, they can afford to go that little bit deeper at the bottom. So we'll have a group 4 there that seems to be pulling away.
We're just looking to see if we can find Ross. So we're following the A's. So the minute we see Ross on the road, that means they've caught and made up their 3 minutes.
Keep going, Ross.
I'm at the painted bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I see Ross on the map here.
I wonder, yeah, the A category looks like they've really split up as well. So is that tricky then? So you have, I think it's Richard, Stuart Miller and Seth Dunwoody riding as a three almost up this hill. But then tell me, what's the chances that the other A's will catch back on now?
Well, this could, that's what I'm saying. You need a strong group. So I think there's 3 or 4 of them there that are just pulling away. So a group like that has potential. It's more that you need a group rather than an individual. So Gary Walker seems to be pushing on at the front here. He's just ahead, yeah. So Gary's to the front, Richard's next, and then Seth.
The A's are at the painted part now, Ross.
Mm.
Yeah.
A little bit of a shout out as well from Simon Kennedy. Shout out to Connect Cycling lads. So that's Ricky, Andy, and Philip as well. And heroes. Good night and hope it's going well.
Like they're certainly not hanging around.
Nope.
Gary's knocking out 440 watts here.
Yeah, Richard
So the
Barry's
average
still in
speed
around
up the
his
hill-
watts as well. 6.3.
Yeah, 4.3% for 3K. So they're not far from the actual first top bit, and then it goes up again. So that's where, if this group is still away, that's the opportunity for anybody that's close by, is on that second little kicker that they need to go really, really full gas up it, where it's steep. That's your chance to close up to these guys. Otherwise, this group could, very well pull away. So Stuart and Gary Walker are together there.
Ross is definitely working.
Yeah,
Richard
Richard's just
Barry
dropped
testing
slightly
it.
there now. 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And Stuart is quite a good hill climber as well. So he, I think, has he was one of the guys who everything challenge for our cycling club as well this year. So hopefully not afraid of going up hills anyway.
Just trying to see who's at the head of the race here. They're not far away. 5Ks roughly to go.
5.4 for me.
5.4.
So just watching young
Approach the wee
Seth.
kicker.
Seth must be closing up to you now. So there's Richard Barry going through that finish bar. So Richard and Seth Dunwoody are together here.
I think Walker's up the road a wee bit.
Yeah, he's up with Stuart, is he?
Yeah, Miller, yeah.
Yeah. So if the two of them work together, 2v2,
Yep.
because the other 2 guys are lighter behind them. And the dynamics of the game are again affected by weight. So the heavier 2 should travel faster than the lighter 2.
I'm on the kicker.
Ryan McBride is being heckled by his dad, Pete McBride. So he's saying, tell Ryan he could go up that climb on a C with 2 flat tires faster. So very encouraging, Pete. I'm sure your son would love to hear that.
So there, Gary Walker has went up in 5 minutes 20. Stuart Miller 21. So Richard Barry's 3 seconds off them. Seth Dunwoody, and then there's a big gap back to the next group, which is Nathan Keown, James Curry, Lindsay Watson, and the young lad Coleman from Orchard.
They're about to come past you, Ross.
I'm on a decent.
So are these guys.
The winning A's is going to come from some of these front 4. It's whether the 2 twos can come together.
Yeah,
If
I was
the
just
2
about
guys
to
at
ask
the
you
front
that,
push
Tommy.
on, they shouldn't. The 2 guys at the back
You look at
shouldn't.
my screen, Mark. I can move backwards. There's nowhere sight
Thanks
yet.
for
We're
that,
still
Ross.
away.
They're just through the tunnel
Couple
now, that
seconds.
wee tunnel.
But yeah, Tommy, you were saying there that I think at the top of the climb, Richard Barry is 3 seconds back from Gary and Stuart.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
downhill, is it possible to close 3 seconds?
It is like the guys are, they're sprinting here, trying to close. They were doing 11 watts a kilo there at one stage. So that's potentially, what you can do is the big, massive power surge and then get into the tuck. But again, if it comes down to the laws of gravity, if the 2 guys in front are heavier, they should be able to stay away. It just depends how hard these guys push. If they all push the same, they shouldn't hurt them.
And
Right
are
on
you
it here,
better to go into Super Tuck straight away, or do what you said and try push out some bigger numbers? Like, what's
Well-
going to tire you out more, really?
Again, the dynamics of the game is once you're at a certain speed, it's probably more effective to be in the Super Tuck. You don't go any faster by pushing.
Yeah, it is
Timmy's-
focused for Gary Walker.
In the subway station. 2.3 to go.
Nearly there,
And
Ross.
what about the head of the race? Do we know where we all are in terms of who? Is there any D still away? Where's young Ryan? And
I think the
He's
D's are
young
still
slam
away,
machine.
yeah.
There's one sandbagger in C, 36 seconds ahead of me.
Doing 5.4 watts per kg.
Doing 7 watts per kilo. That says it all.
There you go.
so the leading A's are into the underground. There's not much actually in it here. This kicker could be really important.
Yeah.
Which is always horrible.
Only about a K
This
to go,
last
roughly,
little-
haven't we?
I'm on the kicker now.
A wee bit more. Yes, this is the hard bit here. You know, you've got to really push here. If it comes down to it, you know, I think that
Please
Gary
have caught me.
could be the guy here. So the two, Richard and Seth, have just hit that kicker now. The other guys have gone over the top.
They'll definitely have to be working very hard to try catch back on.
And Gary Walker has put a bit of distance into Stuart there, has he?
Not much.
That's a lot on Zwift though.
Stuart's coming back to him now.
Yeah,
Uh,
Stuart needs to keep going.
I think the likes of Ryan McBride and all still 40 seconds up, so
So the
think
D
it's the-
categories seem to be staying away.
the D's are staying away. G. Glendenning, but I think he was maybe wrong, but was he not a wrong category?
Yes.
It's actually a good 2-2 ups here between the two guys. You know, they were both on the same bridge there, so it's very close. It's still that 3-4 seconds.
Do you want me to switch over to the lead of the race, or we'll just stick with these guys?
There's
I need
not too
100
much
meters to go.
What was that, Ross?
800 yards.
800 to go.
It's pretty much done, yeah.
It does look like Ryan
So
McBride.
there's a big group has caught up to Seth Dunwoody, and so Lindsay and James Curry caught up to Seth and Richard. So that shows you the momentum of a group behind. There was probably 4 of them that have come up here, and they're just so close to catching the other guys.
But probably not quite enough distance to.
No, there's not enough. The two guys are sprinting now, so they're. Gary's gone for it. He's putting out
Yeah.
double digits there.
Whoa, that is impressive.
12.2 watts per kilo there.
Whoa.
Yeah. And here, the other group now are at 200 meters.
And we have
Ross
Ross
must be
coming in
in
for
there.
his big sprint.
Come on, Ross. You're on
And,
screen.
Ah! Ah!
don't know if he just snapped Ross was off the bike there or what.
You've got the results,
I don't
Ross.
Wait a minute.
Hold for a minute. The man's having a fit.
10 out of 10.
Give the man a chance to get his breath.
Yeah.
Ah!
Well done, Ross. That was really, really good.
So the D's and the C's possibly stayed away there. We're not sure, or are we sure?
It did
I don't
look
know
like.
till the end.
We'll see now. I think we're getting some results loading.
I think if this is right, now I could be wrong. Andrew Mills, George Glendenning, racing days, but as I say, is that correct? Curtis McKee,
Yes, I think so.
I think he's possibly another one in the wrong category. So
He's in the
Yes.
seat.
to go in the right category, we have Ryan McBride appears to be the winner, if that's
Well
correct.
done, Ryan. You didn't
I
need to
got
be
the-
heckling them.
Then
got
Adam
results on my
Ward
screen.
was the first C. I think if that's right.
We'll have a quick scroll through results now that we have Ross off the bike.
Oh.
I'm just looking at the live one now.
Right, there's your A. There's your A
Okay.
category in front of me.
A category, Gary Walker.
Yeah.
Stuart Miller, Seth Dunwoody, James Curry, Richard Barry, Lindsay
Yeah.
Watson, Nathan Kiln. So you can
There's
see
a
that
few
the
more.
momentum of that group from behind that caught the guys made the difference. They had extra. They must have had three or four instead of just four chasing two. Just caught quicker.
Yeah.
Very
What
good
was the
average
Japanese
watts
finish?
per kg in the first like 6 there in the A category as well.
B group, first two disqualified, possibly three. 4.4,
Yeah, so-
4.3.
Alan Patterson there is fourth, and he's coming in on 4 watts per kg. So Alan is from Ard Cycling Club, so I'd say he might have the win there tonight.
Okay, now to the C category.
Gregory, is it?
Oh, Ross, so close.
Oh, Ross.
Gregory Adam Ross.
I don't see Gregory on Ross's results there. I see C McKee under 13.
Yeah, he'll get disqualified, so he will.
He's in the wrong
What's the field
category.
too high?
On Swift Power, I have Ross on the podium here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right?
think he
It
could
was
be
a
right.
close. It was a close sprint between myself, Gregory, and Adam Ward there, but I think they finished ahead of me.
And
I mean,
quite-
I suppose, but
Gregory
couldn't really
Adam
tell.
Ross.
Yeah, Gregory Adam Ross is what I have on Swift Power. Nice
In
one,
terms
Ross.
of women,
Yeah.
then June McMinn will have won the women's C category there as well, so she's in 8th place.
Good ride for June.
Yeah, very
Gary
good.
Scott in 6th, he's up in the league as well. There's
And
Zoe
Zoe
Lindsay
Lindsay.
just behind June.
Yeah.
So June got in the ladies round. We'll go to the D group, this should be fun.
The D group's always fun.
4.3 watts per kilo.
Yeah. So who?
3 watts.
I think Ryan
Who's
McBride
that?
is the.
Ryan McBride's first
Yeah.
Well done,
first
Ryan.
D rider. You have to scroll down to get the next one. There's D Cunningham, 2.6. D
Yeah.
O'Connor, 2.5, 2.4. Richard Lennon. And there's the rest of them. So go back to the A. You can have a chat about them while I cool down.
There's a lot of 5 watts of kilos going on there today now. Like
See that
5.3.
there? Yeah.
I was looking at that. That's seriously high.
Stuart, Seth, James Curry.
Try and get some A's here to see where Glenn finished. Don't have any.
We'll have to get Ross to give us a scroll down.
I don't have him on
Okay.
Swift Power. In the top 13 anyway. Where are you, Glenn?
Haven't
Looks like
seen.
The legs have left the building.
Oh dear.
Oh,
he is.
There he
There he
is.
Yeah.
113.
Right
down.
behind Thomas and Luke.
Well done, Glenn.
Podcast should
We
be
entered
interesting.
the race
Saturday.
Can't wait. Okay, is that us called tonight?
Yeah, next
How
week,
is
guys,
it?
the last round.
Last round next week, yeah. Wasn't long
We're
going
on
in.
the
No, that
Watopia,
would be quick.
Watopia out and back circuit.
And
which
it's
is
a long one,
bit of
it's
an-
long as well.
It is. It's a really good racing start because it's got a mixture of everything. You've got a nice flat start for about 10 Ks. You have a little drag out of the desert. Then it just rolls for a bit, and then you hit the volcano, which is for a sea ride, you're talking about a 9-minute climb, which is longer than tonight probably, but not as steep.
It's probably quite similar to that, only just not as steep, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you've got a really good descent to recover on the other side. Then you've a few couple of kilometers rolling, and you've got one more climb. Is the Watopia reverse KOM, which is another 4 or 5 minute effort.
Yeah.
And then it's downhill for about a kilometer, and then you have about 3.5 Ks flat across the desert to the finish again. So it's a tough circuit. For a good sea rider, the top 10 of the sea riders were doing it just over the hour, about an hour and 4, an hour and 5. The A riders will do it in probably about 50 odd minutes. The D riders will be at least an hour and a half ride. So make sure you have plenty of water with you next week, guys.
Right. We're going to have to find lots to talk about.
We're going to need a lot more shout outs coming through next
Yeah.
week. So get your requests coming in.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Catch us all next week.
Take it easy.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.